How we doing, Miami? We just kicked off the Chiefs game last week. It was a stellar, unbelievable game. It was only right that we got down to the 3:05. It's really the first Thursday night football game. Last week was more of that season kickoff. We're into the real deal. We got Miami. We got the Bills. So I had to bring in the best creators on Dolphins Twitter. You guys know them all. We got Doug. We got Ghost. And we got Bobby. Welcome on, guys.
What's up, man?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having us.
You know, man, it's been a crazy day. The NFL shot us a little retweet, so got some momentum going with the video. And I'm just like, man, we got to get to Miami. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It was a little nerve wracking. Our camera guy had some stuff he had going on. So we're still trying to find a cameraman. I don't have a plane ticket yet. I don't have tickets to the game yet. So if we know anyone down there that has 3 tickets for your boy to buy, hit us up. But really, I wanted to have you guys on and let you guys get a little shine. I'll kind of go down the row and let you guys introduce yourself properly, what you guys have going on. But I really need to be educated on everything Dolphins, everything it's fins up, right?
Yeah.
Everything fins up. And then we'll roll from there. So, Doug, I'll kick it to you. Kind of give me a little background. I don't want to take up too much time because we want to get into the meat and potatoes. But give me a little bit about your background and your fandom.
Yeah, man, been a Dolphins fan since 93, born 87. So I was around 6 when I became a Dolphin fan. You talked about before, got the wedding ring. I got it in my sleeve. You know, a diehard Dolphins fan, graduated with a degree in bachelor's degree in media and film. I took my knowledge of football, and I put it with the Miami Dolphins, and I started this channel, started covering the Dolphins about 6 years ago, about to break 50,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Let's go. And I said, there's no true fandom like having your wedding ring be in the team's color. So I got to pick my shit up. I got to get something going here.
I just changed mine. I had the black one. I was like, season's on. I changed.
Good mojo, baby. All right, Ghost, I'll kick it to you.
Man, I just grew up a Dolphins fan. I'm originally from Scranton, PA. My dad was.
Shit! I'm from Bucks County, PA.
Let's go, dude!
Yeah, yes, I knew we'd get along.
Yeah, we absolutely get along. But my dad was a Dolphins fan. He was a truck driver. He used to take long trips down to Miami, and he was a big Larry Zonka guy. So my dad, I still call him the toughest guy that I know. And I just grew up as a Dolphins fan. And I always make the jokes, Dad. I could have seen a Super Bowl with the Eagles, but I wouldn't have it any other way, man.
Okay. All right. Hold on. There's a lot to unpack there, Ghost, and Bobby, we'll get to you in 1 second. My dad was also a truck driver. He used to do really, Bobby, is your dad a truck driver?
Electrician.
Get the out of here, Bobby. Jesus Christ. No, but I'm the Syracuse guy. Larry Zonka is my guy as well. So like, man, we got a lot. I'm already feeling at home. Bobby, don't mess this up for us.
Well, I'm another out-of-towner. I'm from North Carolina originally, and it's kind of crazy. My dad was a big Dolphins fan, but my local Pop Warner team was the King Dolphins somehow, and I just thought like everything tied together, and all I ever knew was the Dolphins. I live in Lafayette, Louisiana now, still repping the Dolphins. I'm one of 3 members of the Dive Bar podcast with me, myself, Ghost, and Joe Robbie. We do player pods, sit down with players, try to get the human side a little bit of the guys and cut up a little bit, see a side of guys you don't really see often.
No, I love that, man. I mean, we're trying to get a player to hop on, but literally as no one's going to know us at home, we threw this together in 3 hours today. These guys were gracious to share their time. So not to take up any more of your time, let's go back to last week a little bit. And I'm not trying to get into everything that happened pregame. Like I don't need to get in a whole dissertation there.
Yep.
But we all know that Tariq got put in cuffs. There's a little speeding incident. It was, as we've seen on camera, probably blown out of proportion a little bit. Calais Campbell, a guy I know really well, he got put in cuffs. So it was a little bit of a crazy dilemma pregame. How do you feel that impacted the team in that first half? Because I was doing ESPN radio and I was calling the games, and it seemed like the Dolphins have just come up swinging in the last few years, and they came out flat. Doug, I'll kick it to you first on that.
See, I noticed that when that whole incident happened, a lot of the players kind of band together. Like they were talking to Tyreek on the sideline. Obviously, you saw in the video, Jonnu Smith pulled over. We had Calais who also got detained. Thankfully, neither one of them got arrested. I think a lot of that had to do with, a lot of people keep saying rust, but like you even said, Justin, last year they came out hot. Like they were just going off against the Chargers last year. And this year, they were just anemic in the first half. Whether it was the play calling, whether it was Tua missing Tyreek on that deep route, whether it was the drops. So I don't know if it necessarily was that. Maybe it was some type of distraction for Tyreek, and then he went off and got that touchdown. The offense kind of banded together, but there was definitely something, and I think a lot of us Dolphin fans noticed there was definitely something off about the offense in that first half.
Ghost, would you have preferred seeing the guys play more in the preseason?
No, I think I think I would rather see just that second preseason game. The guys get one drive, get what they needed into, and get what they needed in. But they did come out flat a little bit. That the vibes were definitely off in the stadium in that first half. Bobby was sitting 6 rows behind me, and we're looking back at each other, and we're like, "Dude, is this the Titans game over again?" Because then you had like the Sanders missed field goal, and we're like, "Dude, this feels like the worst game we ever watched," and that was like the Titans game last year. But vibes were definitely off, on and off the field in the stadium. But I'm not sure if that incident really impacted the players. I think that it's just happenstance. It's week 1, knocking off some rust. That's my perspective.
Yeah, Bobby, me and the guys on the call were like, either Tyreek's going for 500 yards today and 6 touchdowns, or he's going to not do anything. And of course, he breaks just an unbelievable play. What were you expecting to see from the team, and then what did you get? Because really, if it wasn't for Travis Etienne fumbling into the end zone, we're probably talking about an 0-1 Miami Dolphins right now.
Yeah, I truly thought the Jaguars shouldn't really be a test. I mean, I think they're a solid team, but if we are who we think we are, I thought, 10-point win. I didn't think we'd have to come back and be down at 17-3 and potentially 24-3 at one point. So, it was pretty, like Ghost said, we were sitting beside each other. It was pretty disheartening, and to just, we had all this hype in the off season, and then we show up and do this, and it's just like, no way, I flew all the way down here, spent the whole weekend for this.
Well, you're talking about the vibes in the stadium. I guess with me traveling, I'm flying tomorrow. I'm flying into Miami. Got some family down in Miami. What should I expect going into this stadium? Doug, you're shaking your head, or like in a good way, I'm assuming. Like, give me with the team being as good as they are, what should I expect? Because I just came from Chiefs Kingdom. They were pretty damn good.
So I'll talk about this game coming up and what you can expect. But one of my first big experiences in that stadium was the 2008 season. We were facing Seattle, and we needed to stop them on 4th down. And I swear it felt like the stadium was bouncing. Like on defense, it's when Joey Porter threw his helmet off and we stopped them. Like when we're there and we take over, it is loud. And especially last year, I was there for the Giants game. We take over, and Dolphin fans are some of the most
not a great game for the
fans.
Giants. I signed the week after that.
Yeah, it was we're passionate. Like, I'm up in Jersey, you got Bobby's not in Florida. Like, we travel hard. So especially against the Buffalo, oh my God, it's gonna be loud, and it's a primetime game. Expect a lot of electricity.
All right, let me ask you a question then, Ghost or Bobby, whatever, either one you can take it or you can tag team it, because I know you guys are co-hosts, you know how to play off each other. I'm in Arizona, and a lot of times, like if we play the Steelers, we play the Packers, it would be half Steelers fans in there. And I saw the Atlanta game last week. The Atlanta Falcons were at home going on silent cadence because the Steelers fans traveled like crazy. You would think as a fan going there, you're like, oh, Miami, there's so much going on. It's a Sunday. Go to the beach, like go golfing. The Northeast, they have no option but to go to the games. They got nothing else. Miami is kind of a nice place to live. People are living that life. So tell me about the fair weather fandom of being down in Miami. Like, if you guys are rolling right now, obviously it's going to be top notch, but explain that to me, that dynamic.
Well, I had season tickets for the last 4 years here, so I'm able to see kind of the division rival games and then the games that are out of conference. The Bills, I'll tell you what, the Bills fans, they do show up. It's usually like 70-30. They try to make you believe that it's 50-50 on Twitter, and they'll take some like misleading pictures of the stadium and whatnot, but it's never 50-50. It's about 70-30. My thing like that is, you'll never take over a Buffalo stadium like this. Yeah, because nobody's flying from Miami up to Buffalo to come see you.
Exactly.
Y'all are coming down here and you're retiring down here. So that's my perspective, but it's around like 70-30. But like Doug said, division rival games are different, especially the Bills. Everyone's going to lose their voice. You're going to lose your hearing. It's going to be just like watching a concert in the 5th row. After the second half of last game in the Jaguars game, I went home and I couldn't hear.
Really?
Yep. It was that loud in the second half.
All right. Where is the tailgating happening? Is there a certain lot? Is there a certain avenue? Is there a bar locally that everyone goes to? What's the deal there, Bobby? Or anyone can jump in on any of these if I'm missing something.
Ghost probably knows the best answer to all that.
We got Orange Lot 12, row 209. That is Dolphins Twitter row, Dolphins creator row. There are so many creators in that row. It's pretty wild. We got DJs. We had the strip clubs coming down. They're in the row.
That's a true story.
That's a true story. We got shot bars lined up, and that's just a fun time. One of our big guys, a former fan of the year, Big E, Ian Berger. He's in that row, and everyone kind of congregates. He's kind of the leader of the fan base, and that's a fun row. So Orange 12, row 209.
All right, I got to get connected with this Big E guy. There's a guy up in New York called License Plate Guy who just always, I'm sure you guys have seen him. He sits behind the fans on every game with the license plate. So it seems like Big E might be that guy down there too. I might have to get connected with our boy. Go check out that lot right there. All right, cool. So the tailgating is unbelievable. The experience is top notch. You guys are right up there with every other fan base in the NFL. What about, I was talking about when I was flying in, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. I know the team was closer to Fort Lauderdale. Now they're closer to Miami. Where exactly is the stadium, and where should I fly into?
I normally fly into Fort Lauderdale, and I stay in Fort Lauderdale. It's not that far. If you stay in Miami, it's also not that far. It's like a good in between of Fort. It's like 10-15 from Fort Lauderdale, and then Miami. It's right there too. So you're good either way. But if you don't want to be on the plane for an extra 10-15 minutes, just go Fort Lauderdale.
That makes sense. It does make sense. What about the food? Like if I fly into Fort Lauderdale, is there any spots or like anything that's like, what's the local, I'm not saying like what's the best spot to go to, but when you're tailgating, like Kansas City's barbecue. Miami, is it like, do I got to go get a Cuban that La Sandwichery place? Like, is there any spots that I got to know?
But I
don't really know the local food. I was just down there last weekend. We went to S3. That's more of a upscale, like right on the beach in Fort Lauderdale restaurant. Super nice though. I highly recommend it if anybody wants a nice night out. Me and the old lady went there. It was super cool. Locally, Joe Robbie would have been really clutch about right now, but he's not on here. He knows everything in and out about that area. So,
all right. Well, we'll get connected offline on that one because I'll find it. Because when you're up in New York, you got to try the pizza. When you're in Philly, it's a cheesesteak. So I was trying to see like what that is. It like is it like a seafood spot?
Seafood.
Like a yeah. So
when I was down there for training camp, I went out and got seafood. It was so good.
Okay. People were talking about Joe's Crab Shack. Maybe I got to go down to Miami and try that out. All right. Perfect. All right. Well, let's look forward to this game. The Buffalo Bills are coming to town. I'm out here in Arizona, so everyone was talking about how the Cardinals took the Bills to the wire, lost all these players. Jordan Poyer is going to have like this thing circled. He's going to be head hunting in this game. How do we see this game breaking down? And then I'll follow up with some questions as we go along here. Bobby, I'll let you kick this one off.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I hate to say it, but the Bills have kind of owned us the last 4 or 5 years. It's kind of like they're our Debo, they roll into town on a bicycle and we start hiding our chains and shit. But
we're dropping a Debo clip right now.
Yeah, dude, I'd like to think that, this year's going to be different. They got a lot going on. The secondary is kind of questionable and our passing attack is kind of our strength. So I hope that, that comes in favor. They lost Milano. That's a huge loss. Who'd they lose this week? Didn't they lose another person?
Teron Johnson.
Teron Johnson there.
That's a big loss. Jalen Waddle's going to eat.
All-pro nickel is gone now. So, the stars are aligning and, they're dinged up a little bit if we could ever sneak one in. Also, let's throw in Saran Neal. He's looking for some revenge. He's a all-pro special teamer that we got from the Bills this offseason, so he's looking forward to it. So, I'm excited. I hope we can finally take the reins and kind of grab a hold of this AFC East.
All right, give me a prediction on score. Actually, we'll hold it to the end. We know kind of where you're leaning, but we'll go score at the end. Ghost, take it.
Yeah, like Bobby said, if there's no better time than the time is now. Even though they got Superman back there, Josh Allen, he always turns into Superman when he plays the Miami Dolphins. I just saw a stat. He's 3,800 yards, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions since he's been a Buffalo Bill. But if there's any time, the time is now. The secondary is depleted. They lost both of their safeties. Cornerbacks, I think Teron Johnson just went down. So, Jalen Waddle loves to eat against the Buffalo Bills. It always seems that even though we have Jalen Waddle and the best player in the league, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle just loves to eat against those Buffalo Bills. And if there's any time to turn on the Jets, and I have this feeling that Mike McDaniel, if you were a Dolphins fan for a long time, especially the last 3 years with McDaniel, you saw that he ran a little bit different of an offense week 1 on Sunday. It was a lot different than what we've seen against everyone last year.
Break that down for us. Yeah, tell me more about that.
Yeah, there was. If you watch the game, like Doug said, if you watch the, any game from the Dolphins last year, and I'll take the Chargers for example because it was Week 1, and I'll compare Week 1 apples to apples. There was everything over the middle. You had the 20-yard deep dig routes. You had the rail route going up the sideline. You had the flat route. You had all the combinations that we didn't see. In
the cheat motion came out.
The cheat motion came out last year.
Changed the game last year. That was like the storyline of the year.
Oh yeah, and just a ton of short game. I know that we are down on receivers right now. River Craycraft, he set in line to have a huge year for the Miami Dolphins. He unfortunately got hurt in preseason. We'll get him back probably after the bye week. And then I said even on Douglie's podcast that Devon Achane, he's going to be the third leading wide receiver on this team, right behind Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. And we just saw a ton of screens. We saw a lot of short game. Tua getting the ball out of his hand. I'm not sure if that was just seeing how well our offensive line after losing Connor Williams and Robert Hunt, how that would hold up. But it was a little bit of a different offense. And, a couple of us are talking in the background. We think that, they're probably going to just show something new against the Buffalo Bills. You got to have something in your back pocket when these guys come to town. It's going to be hot. Unfortunately, they're not going to have to call OSHA again, like the fans were crying about 2 years ago about that sun on the sideline. But it'll still be hot. It'll still be humid. It's mid-September in Miami, so it's going to be hot.
That's actually a great point you make. I always hated playing in Florida this time of year, especially coming from the Northeast. It was just like, damn, it's hot, it's muggy, it's a tough place to play. All your players are callous to it. The Buffalo Bills are not. Doug, how much of an impact is weather going to have on this game? What is the weather in this game going to be?
So that's the biggest thing. And the last time the Dolphins beat the Bills, it was Week 3 in September, 1:00, and they were crying, it was too hot, even though the 2 years before they beat the Dolphins in the same exact situation, same exact time of year. It's just, they're a bunch of big babies. But they think, they moved it to a night game. It's going to make a difference. Again, I'm Jersey born and raised. Last year, I went down in October. I was at that Hurricanes game that they should have won, but for some reason decided to throw the ball instead of taking a knee. I was sweating my ass off. It was so hot. It was ridiculous. If you think, just because it's a Thursday night game, it's not going to be as hot. Yeah, you're not going to be baking in the sun. But if it rains all day Thursday and then it stops for the game, it is going to be humid. You can grab the air with the humidity. So yeah, Buffalo thinks that they're going to, it's not that bad with the sun. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. They're going to be gassed. And the Dolphins are prepared for that. I went to training camp this year. It was hot. They prepared for it. They run through all this stuff. And, I don't know if Buffalo's really going to be prepared on a short week heading to Miami.
Exactly. Home field humidity is a real thing. You guys got that to your advantage. Now, let me flip this on its head now, because the weather was an issue for teams coming to Florida. In the playoffs, where you guys are looking to make your hay this year, how do you feel? Everyone talked about that Kansas City weather. They were even talking about it when I was out there. You have to come back when a game like when we played Miami. How do you guys feel about this Miami team going on the road? Because look, let's be honest. The goal isn't just making the playoffs this year. It's making noise. It's winning a Super Bowl in Miami. So how do we feel about the ability to go on the road in places like Buffalo, like Kansas City when the time comes? Bobby?
Yeah, I always use this example because we talked to a bunch of guys on the podcast about it. Reality is we should have never been in Kansas City last year. We had a hold of the AFC East. We had a 3-game lead. We lost to the Titans, then lost to the Bills. Like they all say, there was injuries and stuff, but they don't want to talk about that. They should have handled business. They should have been at home. And, I'd love to say we're going to go up to Kansas City and win, but reality is I'd really rather be in Miami come January, be a 1 seed, be a 2 seed, get 1 or 2 games in Miami and control your own destiny. Then you ain't got to worry about that. And when you're built for speed, let's be honest, we're not built to, our best team is in Miami.
No, that makes a ton of sense. I mean, do you guys even have anything to add to that? I feel like that was pretty damn go be the 1 seed.
Pretty spot on,
He nailed it.
They had Jonnu Smith, they had Blake Ferguson on their podcast. Blake Ferguson was the players know. They know about the cold. They know about the narratives, the 24 years, they can't beat the winning teams. They know about it, and they're out to shut people up. So the best way to do it is to go out and do it. So we'll see if they can.
No, 100%. All right, give me a guy on the team that not a lot of people are talking about, but they should be a player I should look for when I'm there. You can go offense, defense, special teams. You have the star power. I mean, we haven't even talked about Odell Beckham. I mean, I think when he comes back and healthy, and I don't need you guys we don't need to go down that rabbit hole, but a guy on the team that you're looking forward to having a breakout season, a guy I got to keep my eyes on Thursday.
But the guy I'm looking at, and I looked at the injury report, and looks like Devon Achane and Raheem Mostert didn't practice for the past 2 days. Jalen Wright.
Okay.
Watch for Jalen Wright to
Can
get
fly.
the ball. Him and Jeff Wilson, but Jalen Wright. What I saw in him in preseason with the speed and how he cuts the ball. And Buffalo has always had a hard time stopping our run game. Like Raheem Mostert has gone off on them. Devon Achane has gone off on them. They have a hard time with the yak and the contact. And they don't have Milano out there. So watch for Jalen Wright to go off.
I like that one. Okay, that's good. Ghost?
Yeah, I'm looking for, putting the star power aside, like guys like Jalen Phillips had a huge game, on the defensive line last week, or on Sunday, I should say. But there's one guy that's probably not going to get talked about a lot on the defense, even though he is a starter and he made a huge impact, is David Long in the middle, one of our linebackers. He had incredible gap integrity all game. I think he received one of the highest grades. I think it was PFF grade that he received one of the highest grades out there. And he's just one of those under the radar guys. And,
he's not a big guy either. I've played against him. I mean, he's not a massive guy. He just runs.
Lean, athletic, runs, and he's a missile, dude. And he had a fantastic game, and we were waiting for him to really step up into this defense. And Weaver's got his guys playing, man. I'll tell you what, like giving up 0 points in that second half, I think there were 3 and outs, a turnover on downs, and a punt. That was the Jaguars' possessions in the second half. So this defense, if they really get clicking, they're going to start confusing Josh Allen, get after him. We got a lot of speed along that defensive line. We got Chop Robinson coming along. Hopefully he's the Josh Allen killer.
Exactly. And then you get Bradley Chubb back. You get Bradley Chubb back at some point this year. Jalen Phillips looks like he's coming back. It's great to see him because of the devastating injury. That's what you guys were lacking in the playoff game last year, is that you can win in the playoffs with premier edge rushing too, so you don't just have to rely on being the fastest team on turf. Bobby, how about you? Who are we looking out for?
Yeah, first of all, David Long was a great name because rewatching the game, it's just like you see a new play every time you watch it from David Long. He's just shooting gaps. He's just killing everything. He's bumping people. He's talking shit. Like David Long is in his element. He's a captain this year. It's his second year in this team. He really has stepped up. I'd like to go to Jonnu Smith. I think they didn't really use him much. We've heard a lot about this crazy package they got for him this year, and they didn't really unleash much. And that goes back to what Ghost said earlier. I think you've seen a watered-down version of us week 1. They try to just scrape by because I think they're truly going to unload the barrel against the Bills. I think you're going to see everything they got, all the freaking crazy motions, all the Jonnu Smith packages, the fake toss backside reverse with Jonnu. We've seen it training camp. So I think Jonnu Smith's going to get involved this game and make some plays in the middle underneath.
Man, shit, you guys got me hype. I got the goosebumps rolling. Like, hey, you guys live, eat, and breathe this shit, and that's why I love having the fans on, because, look, you can go to any network out there and hear someone give you a vague overview, but you guys are out there in the 100-degree with the humidity, watching the game, knowing everything, talking to the players, knowing how this stuff goes, and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I want to be in the trenches with you guys, because now when I go on tomorrow and I got to talk on Sirius XM radio, I'm giving love to the guys you guys are talking about. And those players deserve the shout out, because the David Longs of this world, he needs to go get paid now. And that's really how this all shakes out. So I appreciate you giving those guys shout outs. Hopefully we can cut some individual clips. But when it comes to this game in particular, now let's go back to the team side of things. Where do we see this one going? And is this a must win for the Dolphins, in the sense that, like, the Bills have been the bully of the AFC East? I was just in Kansas City. The Ravens were trying to knock off the bully in the Chiefs, and they couldn't do it. Now, for you guys, is it a similar situation where, like, this can just completely propel the season for the Dolphins? Doug, kick it to you first.
1,000%. Like, the Buffalo Bills have always been a thorn in our side. It sucks to say, but to me, they're the New England Patriots. They are crowned the AFC East champs until somebody dethrones them. And, the Jets had a bad, game the other day.
How good did that feel? How good did that one feel last night?
I'm in Jersey and I'm hearing Super Bowl. And then I saw that, and then I'm wake up today, put on the radio, and they're all crying. I loved it. But yeah, we got to, like, in 2022, we beat them. And then we almost beat them in Buffalo. We almost swept them. So it's like, we can do it. It is possible for the Dolphins to do it. This is the time to do it. Buffalo does not have many weapons. They don't have many receivers. Their secondary's banged up. Milano's out. Like, even Josh Allen got banged up a little bit. A lot of people were wondering, like, are you going to fully practice? And he said, I'm fine. But is he fine? This is when Weaver, like, we were talking about McDaniel opening up the playbook, which is something that is going to happen. But Weaver, this is when you blitz and blitz and blitz. Last time we beat them in 2022, week 3, Javon Holland had 2 strip sacks on Josh Allen. You have to get after him. That man loves to turn over the ball, force him to turn over the ball, eat, just eat. I want Jalen Phillips. I want them all to eat. I want to destroy them. I keep talking about on my channel that I'm like, I don't want like a 1-point win.
Blood.
I want to win. I want like a 35-14 win where we are like sitting down and then, but you know for a fact when we win, Buffalo Bills, we were injured. We didn't have anybody. I don't give a crap. I want to beat them, and I want to beat them bad.
I love it. I love it. Now, there is a thing like, do the players feel this way, Ghost? How do you feel? Like, are the players like, we're going to go out there and beat these guys? Because if you ever get too high in this league, you get too cocky, you get humble quick. Because Josh Allen, he's got to be 2-3 in the league at the position. He does turn it over. I get you, but that dude wins. So, Ghost, are we? Is Doug a little too confident?
I think that's just what he wants, confident saying that we're going to get in there and do it.
All right, give me the real deal then. All right, give me like the facts.
Well, I'll tell you, like I said, it's a division game. You throw out records in division game, even though it's a second game of the season. You throw the records out, you know that. But Buffalo coming into town, that stadium's going to be rocking. And the players know. We've spoken to the players, and they said we have to turn this narrative around. If this is going to be our division, if we're going to get that 1 seed, if we're going to get that 2 seed, we need to get over this hump of Buffalo, and we need to get in the playoffs with a 1 or 2 seed. We're not going on the road. We play at home, and that's where we're going to play our best football. So I think that this win will propel that team, towards that 1 seed. We have 5 winnable games before an early bye week for the Miami Dolphins this year, and then things get really real. We had the Niners coming to town. We have road games, Los Angeles Rams. So it's really tough season down the road. We're going up to we're going to MetLife Stadium to meet the Jets in December, or January, that is, I should say. We got to go see Buffalo. So it's going to be a tough second half of the season. So if we can get through this, this 5-game stretch, hopefully 5-0, at worst 4-1. Hopefully that loss isn't to a Buffalo fan base and a Buffalo team. Hopefully it's one of those out of conference games. But these are 5 winnable games. These guys can be 5-0 going into the bye week, and that would be absolutely huge.
No, that would be big for you. You guys do have a tough. You got Rams, you got Packers, you got the Patriots in there, Jets, Texans, Niners, Browns, Jets. Yeah, you guys got a tough end of the season there. All right, Bobby, give me your prediction tomorrow on the game, and then I want to get actual game predictions after. We'll go back down the line.
All right, yeah. So like Joe said, I think no matter what the teams look like, it's always going to be a dogfight. So some way or another, somebody's going to win by 3 or 4. It's going to come down to the wire. It's just who can make that last stop, who can get off the field. So, I'd like to think this is going to be the year. Short week, they're banged up, but we got to do it. And we got to do it. It's just the simple fact of the matter is they've always owned us, and they always just handle business when it comes time to play Miami. So we got to change that.
All right, what's the score, Bobby?
24-20, us.
Like it. Ghost?
31-24 Miami. Jalen Waddle goes off.
Oh, I like that too. Doug, where are we going? 48-10?
In a dream world, another 70, 12, 17 type of win.
Saying 48 for a team like Miami or 49 isn't a crazy score to say.
Buffalo always kind of has our number, so I'm going to be realistic here, and I'm going to say 28-21, and I'm going to predict that the Dolphins need to get a first down to win the game, and Tua scrambles for that first down.
All right, bookmark it right now. All right, well, I'm going to show up. I'm going to be in Miami gear. I'm fins up. I'm Dolphins all day long. I want to see a fun game. I want to see offense. I'm going to go 35-27. Miami Dolphins win the game. It's fun. We're going crazy. People are going nuts in the parking lot. I honestly would love like a game-winning drive by Tua to just continue to shut people up. He just got paid. So maybe, you know what? I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go 34-31 Dolphins. They come down to kick a field goal to win. What's the kicker's name? Sanders?
Jason Sanders.
Sanders is a stud. Now he did Hazel Rocket one the other game and missed it. That one you can wipe out. If you barely miss it, you're like, damn, what'd I do wrong? That one I think he hit off his pinky toe or something. That one was not good. He's gonna kick a field goal to win this game, and I'm gonna be back celebrating with you guys.
Let's go. Oh, yeah. I'm all about it. Leaving that stadium to win.
I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. all the followers out there. I know you guys all have probably bigger followings right now than I do on YouTube and social media, but go interact with your fan base, man. Go interact with these content creators. We'll drop all their handles. Follow our show. Go check out the last one we did with the Chiefs. See what we're in store for when we get down to Miami Hard Rock. Go start rocking with these Fins and go get a dub on Thursday Night Football. Appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Let's go. See you later.
Fins up.